Yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about Empowered, because I know everybody loves Empowered. Like, that's a big one. I'm behind. I have not read the comic. I got to be honest. But it's been suggested to me so many times. And a lot of people say, like, this is probably something you like because it's in your wheelhouse. But
Well, I was going to say, if you enjoyed my Gen 13,
Yeah.
my Gen 13 was kind of formative to the creation of Empowered.
Mhm.
And in fact, I mean, my heroine is, I never thought of her deliberately this way, but she actually really is sort of like an unholy cross between Roxy and Caitlin. Because she has sort of the deep insecurity of Roxy with sort of the kind of innocence and sort of goodness of Caitlin.
Yeah.
I should rattle off my standard spiel for the series.
Yeah, go for it.
Empowered is my sexy superhero comedy, except when it isn't, about a struggling young superheroine and her journey from D-list laughingstock in a really embarrassing costume to genuine badass, still in an embarrassing costume. But because it started out basically as a series of jokes when it was not even started as a comic.
was it like people were asking you for commissions, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
At a point when my career was effectively dead, when I couldn't get any work, I was taking on a lot of commissions, and one recurring theme was damsels in distress, which usually meant, in this context, tied-up superheroines.
Right,
It's
yeah.
mild fetish stuff.
Right.
But that gets boring in a hurry. I mean, I know friends of mine that do pinups like that almost for a living,
Right,
and that is brutal. That is unfulfilling. So I started thinking about what goes with the head of somebody that puts up with this kind of crap. You know, what does these, or what immediately spawned from that was, what if you had a superheroine wearing, one of these kind of incredibly revealing super suits, kind of things. What if she wasn't secure? What if she had body image issues? What if she had problems with having to wear this kind of thing? And it sort of spiraled out of that.
Right, yeah.
And out of basically, she starts out as a deeply insecure kind of joke. Basically, it was frequently victimized and is kind of mistreated by her team. And by the way, this was coming out at the same time as The Boys, but I never read The Boys.
Right. Yeah. Actually, it was. That's
Until
right,
quite recently, and I was because I basically I was rather taken aback when basically in Empowered's boyfriend, Thug Boy, was
Which I love that name, by the way.
but he was a former operative, kind of acting against capes, which I had not read The Boys. So when I finally read The Boys, I was a little bit worried that it was going to be overlap and between how Thug Boy's group had worked. It turned out not really with The Boys, but the relationship with the innocent blonde
Starlight,
mistreated by her super team, though not in the same manner as in The Boys. I hasten to add, it's not quite in that league. It's nowhere near as kind of cynical and corrosive as The Boys, I have to say.
It's definitely funner.
Yeah,
I definitely got that from it. Like, I definitely hit a point with The Boys. I shouldn't say this because we're going to be interviewing Garth Ennis later. I had a point with The Boys where I was like, I'm just going to let this one ride. Like, I think I'm okay. But this one, like, I look at it, I'm like, this seems fun and it maintains that fun.
Well, I should say that it started out basically as it gradually grew more complex, developed a supporting cast that I found more and more interesting. Her best friend is a hard-drinking ninja named Ninjet.
Yeah.
and on her coffee table is imprisoned a cosmic overlord who's trapped in a series of energy draining bondage gear, and basically he speaks in an endless sort of kind of Lee Kirby rant, this kind of hyper bombastic, verbose kind of thing. And once I developed that cast and sort of expanding the world, it continued being, it's largely a comedy, but occasionally it started getting sort of kind of, in later volumes, kind of deeply emotional, because and sort of I started trying to work in more kind of trying to kind of put the reader through an emotional experience, and so it took on a lot more depth and complexity than I'd ever planned.
No. But I mean, I think that's what people gravitate towards. It's definitely what I've gotten from it. And I think also the body issue stuff, like I think that's also something that people gravitated towards.
Yeah.
Also, there's an aspect of the power fantasy, right? Because of how she looks.
Right.
But and also it's a sexy book. I think a lot of people, everyone that I've come across, those are things they always hit.
Right.
Like, you'll love it, so you should read it. So I'm gonna get around to it. I'm definitely gonna get around to it.
Well, I should say that while it is a print series from Dark Horse, and our 11th volume just came out a couple of weeks ago, but I also serialize it online. That's
Right.
empoweredcomic.com from the very beginning. We're up through about volume 6 right now,
Mm-hmm.
and every page features my commentary on each page. It's kind of like a director's commentary in a DVD. So,
Right.
so if you want possibly more background detail than you really need, you can read it for free online, or and possibly learn about the making of the book.
Right, yeah,
also.
yeah.
But it's there if you want to get caught up on that.
I mean,
So.
I like the deep dives. It's part of the reason we do these interviews, because
Right.
I want to know all the details. Like, I want to know what you were thinking, how you got there, all this other
Right.
stuff too. Is there a definite end for Empowered, or are you just kind of riffing, seeing all the different directions it goes? I know you said it takes on a life of its own, but is there ever did you ever have if I ever end, this is the story that's going to finalize this character?
I do have a long-term kind of ending for the series in mind, but I'm kind of a ways off from getting to it.
Okay.
But what I've in the short term, I have a more critical issue in that I'm having drawing hand difficulties, because
okay.
basically I pencil Empowered by hand with really soft leads, and I've been getting sort of various kind of carpal tunnel-like symptoms since I finished volume 11. So I'm looking to transition to a digital workflow of some sort.
Okay.
So I'm going to eventually have to. Empowered will continue in a different format. I would think maybe shorter volumes, probably digital art down the road. But that's actually the short-term obstacle I'm facing.
Okay.
But I hope to do one more volume in the current format if my hand will hold up, just to wrap up a few more of the plot threads, so I can be set up for a relaunch down the road.
Okay. Oh, a relaunch. All right. Well, I mean, you've done a relaunch before, right? The series kind of started over in volumes at one point in time through Dark Horse.
No,
right?
it's run pretty constantly.
Okay. Was there an Unchained series that?
Oh yeah, Unchained was a collection of. I'd done a bunch of one-shots with different artists over the years as floppies, as individual issues.
Okay.
So yeah, Empowered Unchained was just a collection of all the guest artist drawn books.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So because I had it's like Takeshi Miyazawa, Brandon Graham, my friend John Staten, Emily Warren. I had actually some really great artists do one-shots for me, so it collected a bunch of those.
Okay, awesome. I love that. Adam, thank you very much for hanging out with us and talking to us about Empowered.
Thank you very much.
Selling me on it so I can finally commit to it. And thank you very much. Guys, you can pick up Empowered at your local comic shop. All the volumes are available right now, and of course the most recent volume just dropped recently. Look for his webcomic, for the Empowered webcomic, on his website, of course. And actually, can you give us the official URL?
It's empoweredcomic.com.
See, very simple. You got no excuses, just like me. And we will see you guys at the Spinner Rack. Thank you very much for joining us at Previews World, and catch you later.